your sniper kill, the farthest one.
This guy's trying to kill my buddies and trying to kill me. So I've got to kill him. It was, like I said, missed him 4 times, so blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. I'd rattled through 4 shots, and then on the 5th one, I remember looking at Greg, said, 23:45, send it.
Let's move into your sniper kill, the farthest one.
Oh, yeah.
What were you guys doing?
There was another task unit size, so 2 SEAL platoons, clearance and overwatch. Being a sniper, I can't remember what we did, but wherever we inserted, we cleared through this little area, climbed this mountain. We're doing overwatch of, another village that they were clearing through, and then they did a key leader engagement. And it was kind of supposed to be a Taliban stronghold in that area, and they were getting to a lot up north. We didn't have much going on where we were. It was hot, flipping miserable, and these guys come out, and of course they're armed to the teeth. They got their Rhodesians on and their AKs. I think one of them had, it wasn't a PKM, but it was one of those AKs with a long barrel and the big bipod legs, and it was, but it wasn't a PKM. It was just it was an RPK. Is that what they're called? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, they ride out together on a motorcycle, and one of the snipers shoots at him and misses. And then I start shooting at him, and the guy that was with me, Greg, he just starts lasing with the big Viper. Remember the big Vector range, one of those humongous things? He's like, hey, 1,700. And so I had my dope set, and I remember doing the holdover, and I could see that big Rothfuss round from that 50 BMG going, right or left. And they slow turned, and Greg, I'd rattled through 4 shots, and then on the 5th one, I remember looking at Greg, said, 23:45, send it. And he's just giving me the lasers. That was the last one. And so I looked at my dope card. I cranked my dope to what would have been 2350, put the wind hold on that I thought, which was it was actually a little bit. So if they're going this way, my wind hold was actually this way. I remember being on about the 2nd mil dot. I remember seeing it vividly, like I could draw it for you, right? That one thing. But I closed my eyes. Natural point of aim's good. Please, Lord, let it hit. Boom. I remember watching the trace of that big bullet go through the sky. I thought I shot over him. It went through his front leg, went through the bike, went through the leg on the other side, and blew up on the other side. The Rothfuss rounds and explode when they hit. And he fell over, and I was like, oh, man, I thought it went. I saw the trace, and it dropped down, and it traces, the vapor trail of the bullet, for anybody who's listening, and falls over. And I was like, see, did I give him? He said, I don't know. I can't tell. We couldn't really see, at that distance. And the TU commander comes over and said, hey, how far was that person that you just shot at, HUD? And said, a little over 2 clicks. He said, that's a long shot, son. He's calling for a medic and a mechanic. And so he laid there and bled out, and they were actually able to go get his some of his ID material, his guns. He just laid there. Nobody came back for him. They got his bike when they cleared over and cleared cleared that side of the village. So that was my furthest kill. Definitely not the furthest one out there, but it was like 1.5 miles. So it was, like I said, missed him 4 times, so blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. So, it worked out. But yeah, that was, and again, what, we were doing that for the specific job that God put me in that place to be a sniper at that time. That's how you justify that. He didn't put me in that place to be a missionary or anything else. I was in that place to be a sniper and protect my guys who were literally clearing the village to go over there where he's going to plant his IEDs and to set up an ambush on these guys. Yeah. And it's my job to make sure that they get home to mama and the babies. And so that's what we're there to do. And that's why it's important to understand you can't, Proverbs 19:2 says, zeal without knowledge causes you to miss the mark. You got so many people that are zealous for so many things, but they have zero knowledge about what actually went on. I could have all kinds of zeal about the political, climate and what's going on, but if I have no knowledge of what's really happening, I'm going to totally miss. This is what I know. This guy's trying to kill my buddies and trying to kill me, so I've got to kill him, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything notable on this deployment that you want to bring up?
Brendan Looney. That's to be the only thing, because he was such a solid dude. Brendan Looney died toward the end of the deployment, September. I think we rotated. By the time everybody rotated out was November 1. So Month and a half left. Looney died,
How
and
did he die?
Helo crashed. Helo got shot down. That was, I mean, as you know, most of your buddies, most of my Helos, very rarely at the front end of the deployment, we had an augment that Andy set up with gold because he was connected, and then we did an interop with them, and then some of our guys attached to them. That's when Adam Brown died at the front end of the deployment in like March.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that was so it started off that way with us being kind of tied to them. That's how we got in early and started doing the rip, and some of our guys doing the augment with gold. Adam died, and then Green Beret died in the middle of the deployment. We had to go out, and he got shot and drowned in a river, and we had to go out and look for him under a dam, if I remember right. That was the last time I saw Looney. And then Looney died a couple months later in that helo crash. And then there was a couple other team guys that died that I didn't know really well, but I'd met them. And a young guy who I knew, he was a couple training classes behind me. If I remember right, I literally ate breakfast with him or ate, not breakfast, but just ate dinner, but they cooked eggs and all that stuff. You could choose what you wanted to in Kandahar. Ate with him the night before, and then he was on that helo the next day on that turnover op or whatever it was. So that was that was hard because it was a lot of. It wasn't everybody's first time to experience loss. Team 3 had suffered a lot of loss from Mikey Mansour to Ryan Jobe to Mark Lee to now all those guys, now Brendan Looney. So Team 3 had suffered loss, and a lot of guys had experienced it. But at least for me and a couple of the guys who this was really our first real combat deployment, went through training with him, his good buddy, that was hard. And then, so that'd be the hardest thing.
Damn.
But Dennis Miranda, by the way, was the guy that I ate with. I don't know if I said that a little bit ago, that I kind of knew through a few training classes. He was at Team 4, I think, doing the turnover op. He died as well.
Damn, man. How did the team kind of recover from that? Or did they?
Surprisingly, really well. There's one great thing about any accusation anybody wants to level against the SEAL teams, and I love all special operations. I'll never talk trash about Delta, Green Berets, MARSOC, and SEAL teams, any of them, because it takes a special person. And even in Scripture, God upholds men of war, real men of war. And so special operations, I don't care what anybody says, conventional forces just generally are not doing what special operations are doing. We're always at the front end of the combat. Some conventional forces are, but all of special operations are generally, if there's combat going on, they're going to be somewhere there and near it. And God holds a special place in his heart for the warriors, so all of them do the same. I can't speak to those other organizations, though, but what I can do is speak to the SEAL teams, in particular, Group 1. Bro, what they offered and what they do for when you do lose a friend, a close one, what they do for the families is hands down the best community I've ever experienced or been around. My wife still talks about that, and we were in it for a short amount of time. It's not like I did a 25-year career and retired.
Yeah.
The best community to have around you when something like that happens. I mean, you had guys coming out to Danny's from, all the East Coast teams, development group, SDV out in, Hawaii or Oregon, where guys were coming in to Danny's just to honor Brendan Looney and hang his picture on the wall there.
Danny's is a what was a SEAL, a team bar.
Yeah, a team bar in Coronado.
A lot of tradition there.
Yeah, so they did. You'll never hear me level an accusation against NSW about how they treat people, especially when loss happens.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.